Our relationship goes back more than a quarter of a century.
The next transaction could come from anywhere.
We will work with clients beyond the deal.
So I think we're just going to spend a few minutes talking about KLV and what it does. KLV is a boutique financial advisory firm. Our principal activity is advising owner-managed businesses on their corporate affairs. And the main activity is mergers and acquisitions. Typically, we're acting for vendors, shareholders who want to sell their business. But equally, we will advise companies on the potential sources of finance, help them put together business plans, dealing with their strategy and their financial future.
Obviously, we're not sector specific. We have vast experience covering everything from retail, publishing, hospitality, technology-based businesses, fintechs, regtechs, which is a large part of my operational background and experience has been in that fintech, regtech sector.
We also provide valuation services, which might be in the context of probate, a divorce, a shareholder dispute, or simply people who want to know what their business is worth. And we also provide financial recapitalization advisory services. So that might be a company that's got into some kind of financial difficulty and needs help reconfiguring its finances or reconstructing the shareholder base or any combination of those events. So those are our principal activities, but they're very much focused on owner-managed businesses rather than large corporates.
So we actually understand how private equity, venture capitalists, investors think about these things, and strategic buyers as well, in terms of finding those keystone acquisitions, but also those tuck-in companies that can be brought into the platform to help accelerate the overall group of businesses within there. Robert has a vast amount of experience working in that publishing, media sector. I have vast operational experience, both in publishing and media, but also in probably the last decade of my career in the fintech, regtech space, which is one of the fastest growing sectors in the market today. When we're talking in terms of how KLV Corporate Finance came into being, I mean, it's something we discussed over a number of years, and our relationship goes back more than a quarter of a century, which kind of, I think people can see by the colour of our hair. I was a small business owner with a startup running a media group, publishing company, and I got a call one day, which was from you.
I remember at the time you said that you didn't particularly want to go on working in that sector, carrying on running that business. And of course, that's exactly what you did, and did it very successfully. And I think in part that was down to the fact that you actually enjoyed the experience far more than you'd anticipated, and it obviously led to many future successes for you and for me, and obviously to this partnership now.
I often say, the first business I sold for somewhere north of 2 million, the last one I sold somewhere north of 200 million. So, that's been a journey, and you've been part of that, and a lot of that success in terms of liquidity events were down to you. The whole reason behind KLV Corporate Finance is, given our backgrounds, Robert's extensive experience in deal making, my extensive experience as an investor looking to acquire and build and accelerate businesses, we've brought together that deal making expertise with that operational experience. And that's quite a unique combination. And it goes back to that view that we take of we will work with clients beyond the deal. What the beyond the deal means is actually understanding your business, being trusted partners in the business, people with extensive track records of success, and actually understanding that selling a business isn't necessarily about getting the biggest number up front. I mean, while if we're instructed that's the driver, so be it. But I often say to people, sometimes the second best bid is the best bid, because it fits with your objectives as a business owner. Because often people will want to stay with the business for a certain amount of time. And what they want to do, they want to preserve their culture, look after staff, retain staff, what's going to happen to the staff that has grown the business with them going forward. They want to know what level of autonomy they'll have with a particular buyer as they move forward with the business under new ownership. And they want to maintain that legacy of the business.
I've worked across all sectors, and if you do what we do, advising owner-managed businesses, the next transaction could come from anywhere. It's not that sector specific, but we do have particular sector strengths. But the reality is that you're probably providing much the same service to companies regardless of their sector. It's more about understanding the company, the people, their objectives, and the marketplace they're addressing.